Dashanella. Good morning, everyone. My name is Heather Johnson. I help with the operations of the day-to-day at the Yetiskade Hojonja Center. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here to present this morning. Sorry I could not be in person. We have our house meeting today. So today's the day I go and address relatives and concerns. And we have a big meeting to kind of just keep our flow going with our facility, as well as my children have state testing today. So good morning, everyone. And I hope you woke up well and feel the sun and, good heartbeat, and we will have a good day. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Andrea, it looked like you were able to join us. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Buenos días. Hiana washte. Good morning. Han matakio ape chante washte napichi zapi. Andrea Climas Imachi api. I am Mexican and Oglala Lakota, a citizen of both the Pine Ridge Reservation, and I reside here in Phoenix, Arizona. I want to thank you all for this opportunity to share in this partnership and the work that we're doing with our relatives. And thank you for that beautiful blessing invocation this morning. And yes, we're going to have a good, beautiful day today. Thank you all.
Appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. And so we do offer a hybrid because we know relatives are doing the work, across the nation. And for families, we want to make sure that we can meet them where they're at. And so when they want to engage and hear what's going on with the task force, so we've made a commitment to do our best to provide hybrid. There's always technical challenges, but the staff and our team here we're small but mighty, so appreciate that you're able to join us. I do want to recognize that we have Andrea Bial with Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue on the call. We have a Dalen. Dalen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, good morning. Yat bene she Dalen Benali Unishia Haskanzo Onishlik Ufane Bashishi Isachini Dashiche Ani Dashinala. I am joining for the Youth Council in the Northern Agency, and yeah, just here to listen and learn, and thank you.
Mabiga. Yeah, thank you for joining the call. We appreciate you on the call um and always appreciate the voice of our youth in this discussion especially for prevention, violence, and how we can continue to protect one another. So we have Miss Gina Begay Roanhorse. She's our federal partner at Department of Justice or our Attorney General's office. I'll get um, your proper. Regina, just introduce yourself, Shada. I'm sorry. I was looking for your official title.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Regina Begay Roanhorse. I work at the U.S. Department of Justice, the Federal Prosecutor's Office. So it's often U.S. Attorney's Office. But it's easier to say Federal Prosecutor's Office. Yat e bene, everyone. Nice to meet everyone.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to write down Federal Prosecutor's Office because that AUSA always does hang me up. Appreciate it. Okay, we have a few note takers. Kayla, Shada, did you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Madame Crotty. Yat ebene, she Kayla Benali and she, Tachini Nishlon, Torishini Bashishin, Autoluk Dene Deshitre, Ashi, is my Nellies. I am Kayla Benali, originally from Cal Springs, Arizona. I'm the daughter of Aaron Mark Bradley. He's my father. So he's a missing relative. He's been missing since September of 2025. So we're still in hopes of searching for him. And I do appreciate you welcoming me here. It's very enjoyable to become familiar with all your faces and voices. I also want to include in there that everyone on this call is my heroes. You have made our life so much easier and better in navigating the search for my father. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Shada, for continuing to, provide your patience and grace as well, how, in terms of how we can help and assist you and your family with the recovery of your father. So we always recognize that that's an honor, and that's not something that we take for granted. So we appreciate you. Crystal Yazi, do you want to introduce yourself for the record, please?
Hello, Yate Bene. My name is Crystal Yazi. Since Kad Nishne, Bipatwatni Bashichin, Kad Chanel Topana Ashiche, and I am a survivor of a brutal kidnapping and beating. So have advocated on behalf of some families to be seen and to be heard. Also have assisted families in the FBI investigation, as well as um, connecting with the McKinley County Sheriff's Department on a case that I attended, and reporting the officers when they fail the families, and that families do have that right to due process. So it has been enlightening and saddened to help the families, but that is what I'm learning, to become an actual advocate for an organization one day, or even creating my own organization. And it's all about learning, listening, and safe circles. So that's a little of who I am. But I thank you for your time and everybody here. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Crystal Shadeja, for continuing to also include us in your healing journey and pursuit of justice. Appreciate you. Shanella Laurel, do you want to introduce yourself as task force member?
Sure. Yeah, T. It's great to see all the familiar faces and new faces joining us. Yeah, T. My name is Laurel Shepherd. Na kaidina enshlo shihibashish chindo tsereshkishin edishichedoki on edishinale. And I'm a community representative, but I also am a program director for a nonprofit victim services agency that operates on the Arizona side of the Navajo Nation. And so I manage several offices that support victims of all crime and crisis. So, yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And then I'm sorry, Luvan Nina Sosi. I apologize.
Oh, that's totally fine. Good morning, Honorable Crotty. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Yeah, it's Aisha Lubanina Sosiansha, Sanahabitlina Shlento, Senjikine Bashishtin, Ashihe Ada Shiche Tabahe Ada Shanele, Twithlagai, New Mexico, Danasha, Denver, Colorado, Aishugando, Nadnish Ade. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited, to be here. I'm representing the Navajo Nation Youth Advisory Council. I was elected their at-large member, so I'm representing the Denver area at the moment. So yeah, I'm really, excited and happy, to be a part of the organization, and, to represent, many of our youth, living off the reservation. But yeah, so I currently, am in two roles right now. I'm working as a case manager at the Denver Indian Center, which is a nonprofit organization here. So yeah, I'm really excited to learn about today's topics and to be with you all and share knowledge. So,
Well, yeah, thank you, Well, for being on the line and calling in from Denver. It's great to know that this hybrid makes it accessible for folks who want to join, listen in. And if I just want to mention too that we live stream this on Facebook and socials. So if you're ever not able to join at this specific time, we wanted to make sure that you're able to review it later on. And we're also, in partnership with Navajo Technical University on a missing and murdered in a relative database, which we hope will incorporate some institutional knowledge for community-based researchers. So we're actively trying to pull together all of our documents. We've been together as a team in different at different moments for at least the last 10 years since we lost Ashlyn, and that is coming up in about a month. And so it is a heartfelt time for all of us, but we want to make sure this work continues to protect our relatives. Shiaj Milton, are you able to introduce yourself, Yash? Oh, unmute, unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Shema. I appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Milton Bluehouse. I'm a originally from Granado, Arizona. Although I am the Cliff Dweller clan, Tsinjikine. Although on my dad's side, I am Lilithlan, and my Chays, they're the Kachin and Anistel, Although Shanala A. Hunalani. And so that's who I am by clan. I am currently a professor at Dine College, and in a previous profession, I've worked with presidents and Navajo presidents, and I worked as a policy director for um, Administration for Native Americans, as well as senior policy advisor for the assistant secretary for the um, Department of Health and Human Services, Children's and Families Administration. And so I'm just very happy to be here and to meet everyone there. And I look forward to contributing my resources to this very important and critical issue. Thank you, Shema.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chef. Appreciate it. And tell mom I said hello. Okay, so we'll go to Raphael. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Raphael Begay, Senior Public Information Officer with the Navajo Division of Behavioral Mental Health Services. Thank you all for the work that you're doing, and good morning.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your voice on here too, Raphael, always helping us understand the dynamic of how we can build in just internal programming, communication and collaboration, and just for the work of our people. So appreciate that you've made a commitment to continue to show up. Appreciate you. Okay, let's go on. We have Miss Tanya Grass. Tanya, are you able to introduce yourself for the record?
Hello, Yat. Good morning. My name is Tanya Grass, a victim advocate supervisor with Utah Navajo Health System. My clients are Nut Otanet Kachit Nishlo, Dislan Bushes Chain, Honolani Dash Chedo, Torachine Dashnele. Within victim services with UNHS, we have 12 victim advocates. We have 8 on the New Mexico side and 4 on the Utah side. And we work very closely with Laurel and her team to serve victim services across the Navajo Nation. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tanya, for being on the call. And as we're coming back together formally as a task force, I just thought it was a great time for everybody who's on the Zoom call to know who is continuing to have the dialogue as a task force. We're going to continue with our Thursday calls for public information education. So I want to invite both Tanya and Laurel that let's get scheduled. This is Sexual Assault Awareness Prevention Month. And so maybe our next gathering, we could talk about the work of the advocates and how that intersects with the work that we're doing as a Missing and Murdered and Relatives Task Force. I get a lot of questions on what is the task force doing? What have you accomplished? And so I understand that not everyone can follow Navajo Nation government or press releases. So our hope is as we get more on social media, or if we could maximize the capacity of those who are on the task force or allies to help get the word across that there are groups and individuals that are dedicated to helping our families. So appreciate all of you. Andrea, I know that I introduced you, but I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. Andrea, because you've done amazing work with Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue.
Oh, thank you, Shadid. No, yeah, I'll quickly do it. Just bear with me. I caught a cold, so
Okay.
But thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Andrea Bial. I am from Arizona and New Mexico. I was born in New Mexico, but I now live in Phoenix. So I do a lot of work in both New Mexico and Arizona. And my sister is Bernadine. I'm with Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue. I'm also the board of directors president. Thank you all for being on this call, and it's great to hear from you guys again, Levi, Andrea, Heather. Thank you for being on the call for the presentation today. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to move forward with Twyla. Do you want to introduce yourself, Shadeja?
Hi, good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Shede. I am Twyla Largo Shea, Kia ani slash bashini kitlachini dashiche tachini dashinale. Although I am serving as the office manager for the MMDR database, so we work closely with Delegate Amber Crotty and the task force members, and also, just helping to improve coordination, response efforts, and support the data accuracy, case management, and collaboration with the Navajo Nation to better serve our community and bring in awareness. So Navajo Tech has been part of this project with Dr. Gil Gonzalez and Dr. Jason Arviso. Please look out for our website. We have our website posted as the navajotech.edu. We are going to be advertising hiring to a research MMDR researcher. So please take a look out for our website and postings. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. So I do, and I asked Tatiana, our co-chair for the task force. Tatiana, can you help us continue with the introductions? And I'm going to be sending Delegate Dr. Andy Naz has asked for the call-in information, so I'm going to text that information to him. But I'm going to be offline for a few minutes. I do have to follow up on some pressing issues. So Tatiana, if you could help facilitate the call, and then I will chime back in when I'm able to get back on video. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. We do have a few task force members who did join us online. Delegate Eugene Charles Newland, would you like to introduce yourself for the record? Okay, maybe she's not able to speak at the moment, but we are noting that you are here. Phone number ending in 582. Can you introduce yourself for the record?
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. We can hear you, Delegate Charles Newland.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's great to hear everybody on the line. My name is Eugenia Charles Newton. I'm a council delegate representing the Shiprock community. My clans are Bitathni, born for Ashin, Nala. So it's good to be on and to hear this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Charles Newton. Phone number ending in 582. Can you introduce yourself for the record? It's going to be *6 to unmute. Phone number 480 ending in 582. Can you introduce yourself? Okay, we'll get back to them. We also have some visiting guests on the line. Mr. Gary Mike, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Gary Mike. Lashin Shlon Hashlishni Bashishin, Hachini Dashichayaro, Kodachini 8 I am with the Ashland Mike Memorial Run coming up next month. And I wanted you all to, try to make it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. It's good to hear from you. We also have a Youth Advisory Council member, Yanaba Smith. Did you introduce yourself by chance?
No, not yet. Can I do it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yat it an na toshinat ani do she dana she yana was smith in she kilchin in a slum my dish kisni basis chin be between eda she hanalani eda snella arot sabin sky dan yasinasha arot oh my goodness settle cheetah has kan ke huit auto in the Biologic Etche Biotechnology by Instra auto in the Navajo Nation Youth Advisory Council member Nishle Ahut Shananish Inson auto the nets lots on the Linigi, but I can't Nishle Naki Demilia Jidoba on Nadine Ashkla Doba on Naki Demilia Jidoba on Nadine Hastanishle Ahut Shananish Inson I thought hello everyone, my name is Yanaba. I am a member of the Navajo Nation Youth Advisory Council, and I am also representing the Navajo Nation veterans as the Navajo Nation Veterans Princess. And I want to thank you all for the work that you are doing continuously and also looking out for our veterans who are also missing and murdered. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. We appreciate all the Youth Advisory Council members who are able to join us today. Thank you guys for joining us. Going down the line, we do have, let's see here. Oh, Rachel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Rachel Hood from the Attorney General Chris Mays's office. I'm the tribal liaison. And good morning. It's my first time attending this meeting, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Rachel. It's good to hear from you. Okay, so it looks like we did introduce everyone on the line. Let's go ahead and get started here. Can we do a roll call vote? Because it looks like we might have quorum right now.
Okay. Thank you, Tatiana. Good morning, everyone on the call and that are present in the Budget and Finance Conference Room. Today is April 9th, 2026. Honorable Amber Canals Crowdy, are you present?
She's excused till she joins back on.
Okay. Honorable Athena Charles Newton, are you present?
I am present.
Honorable Athena Charles Newton is present. Tatiana Billy.
I'm present in person.
Tatiana Billy is present. Yolanda Azua.
Yolanda is excused for emergency reasons.
Sergeant Gary Branson. I do not see him on the call, and Sergeant Gary Branson did not answer roll call. Juanita Martinez.
I just got done texting Juanita. She said she's gonna jump online the next couple minutes, so we'll keep a lookout for her.
Okay. Malcolm Wesley. Are you present? Malcolm Wesley did not answer roll call. Laurel Shepherd.
Yes, I am present.
Laurel Shepherd is present. Tanya Grass.
I'm present.
Tanya Grass is present. Milton Bluehouse Jr.
Present.
Milton Bluehouse Jr. is present. Vice Chair, we have 5 members present. Vice Chair.
All right, thank you for that. So it looks like we don't have quorum, but I do know that Delegate Prouty will be back online soon, and we also have Juanita who's going to be joining us very soon. Let me just do one more call out for this number. Phone number ending in 582. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, I am a Gallup advocate, and my name is Kendra Dalgarito, and my clans are Toiguini, Nishlet, Hagsoi Bashishit, Dashini Dashache, and Sinajini Dashanella. And I'm just more or less just listening to the call.
Thank you for that. And we do have some individuals joining us here in person. We have Jacob James, who helps with the Navajo Nation Youth Advisory Council. Thank you for being here with us today. And then we also have Althea James from DCFS, who's joining us in person today. And we also have Kobe Sagay, who is joining us from Division of Behavioral Mental Health Services. So thank you to everyone who is on the call and here with us in person. Let me just do one more check to make sure. Oh, so we do have Juanita Martinez on the line right now. Juanita, can you introduce yourself for the record so we can note you down as here?
Yes, good morning. My name is Juanita Martinez. I am a representative for the Office of Prosecutor with Navajo Nation.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today. You helped us meet quorum. Delegate Crotty will be back on the line here shortly, so we'll mark her here as present. So we do have quorum with 7 members here out of the 11. So let's go ahead and get started. We have here before us our presenters. Do we need to go down the agenda and accept the agenda? Until, okay, so we'll vote on the agenda once Shadif jumps back online. Presenters, you guys already did introduce yourself for the record, but for everyone who jumped online, go ahead and introduce yourself one more time, then we'll get right into your presentation. Go ahead and push the button.
Good morning, everybody long in the share, my education in the share, those that are here on the Bashashin, Synergy in the shade of Turshing in the Sheen of the shop. Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Long. I am the partnerships and communication specialist with the Base Audit Georgia Center and Accident Care. With me today are my colleagues. I will let Lorena introduce herself.
Go ahead and push the button again. Gat in one Philippa Lorita Anderson, Shashtina Dawashi, Bashashin, Dawuji, Doshache, Totally, Dashanella. Good morning, everybody, members of the board, Honorable Madam Chair and Co-Chair. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and we're looking forward to presenting to you all. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Wait, there we go. Thank you for that, presenters. Do you guys have your documents here in person and also online? Did you guys need help with the presentation?
Yes, please, if you can.
Okay.
Take the lead on the PowerPoint, that'd be great.
Mhm.
I also wanted to allow some time for our colleagues who are on Zoom, our executive director and our operations director, so joining. Hi, Andrea and Heather, if you could also introduce yourselves.
Okay. For the presenters who are online, I'll give you some time to present or introduce yourself.
Again, good morning. Hanmatakyo Chante Washe Napachizate. Andrea Klimas. I am the executive director over here at Axiom Care YHC's program. I professionally, I do hold independent license as an addiction counselor with the Arizona Board of Behavioral Health. So, thank you again for allowing us to be here.
Thank you for that. Do you have one more individual who needs to introduce herself?
Yes, good morning, Yacht Shay Heather Johnson, Yanishia, Nanish Ejatapahana Shlon Zafla, Eba Shishin, Kentlichini Dashichay Zafla, Eta Chanela. Good morning, my name is Heather Johnson. I am the operations person for the Yet Discob Teho Georgia Center here in Phoenix. I work closely with Andrea Klimas and our clinical director, Leslie Whitehead Perez, and we uphold and do the day-to-day with our facility and providing services for our relatives. I do a lot of the operations as well as helping with the clinical side. I've been in behavioral health since 2011, working from crisis detox to outpatient services and now working with inpatient residential services. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and the time to be here this morning with that.
Thank you to everyone. We'll go ahead and give you guys the floor for the presentation.
Okay, again, thank you so much. I just want to again express our gratitude for allowing us to present to the task force. And I also want to give a thank you, a special acknowledgement to Bernadine Bayal and Andrea Bayal with Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue. Bernadine and Andrea had heard of the YHC facility and had reached out to us to tour back in February. And, we learned a lot from each other during that initial meeting. We talked a lot about some potential pathways for partnerships, spoke a little bit more about our role within the MMDR crisis and how we might be able to, find some solutions down the road. And since then, we've been, getting a little bit more involved with local organizations in Phoenix, City Center Health, and then also other organizations, and how we might be able to fit our roles to help with MMDR initiatives and programs and outreach. So again, thank you again for that. So first off, I am going to start off talking again about giving an overview of the Yiddish Georgia Center, and then also talk a little bit more about Axiom Care. I'll take us through a little bit more of where we are located, the building. We'll talk about the partnership role that we have with Navajo Department of Health. with NDBMHS, as well as our operations, and talk a little bit more about our curriculum. And then we will also allow time, of course, for questions. So thank you. Let's see here. Just want to make sure that, all right, there it is. So what you'll see there on your screens is our partnership logos with NDOH, with DBMHS, Axiom Care, and really our motto that we follow, Navajo Healing Navajo. That is something that we take to heart. I really do believe that our facility is in a really unique position to heal our community members, our citizens, and we are just so excited to see all of the positive outcomes that have come, since we've opened this past fall. If we go to the next slide, please. One part that we also want to make sure that we are acknowledging is our role within Optum and Pipashlian. So as Dine citizens, the Yadiscada Hydrogen Center and Axiom Care want to acknowledge the ancestral and contemporary homelands of Akio and Pipash relatives. We see ourselves as guests on the land, and we want to make sure that we recognize our responsibility to be good relatives and to uphold our role as caretakers by providing compassionate, culturally grounded, and effective care for Indigenous people seeking healing from addiction. Through the Yadiscada Hydrogen Center, we offer a healing experience rooted in Dine values and honor traditional practices, including the Navajo wellness model, healing circles, Gona principles, and evidence-based care aligned with SAMHSA best practices. We further affirm our respect for the sovereignty of Arizona's 22 tribes and acknowledge the many Indigenous relatives from across Turtle Island who now call Coastal Phoenix home. Next slide, please. So here you'll see a photo of the YHC. So we do call the Yadiscada Hydrogen Center YHC for short. And so just so you know that, I will be referring to YHC throughout the presentation. But yes, we are a Navajo Nation-owned residential substance use treatment facility in Midtown Phoenix. We are located north of Thomas Road, just east of Central Avenue. So if you're familiar with Phoenix and that area, there are a lot of other Native organizations all within that neighborhood. We're pretty close to the Phoenix Indian Center and to Native Health, and we're probably about a mile away from the Phoenix Indian Medical Center as well. So it's a really great location. We are right off of the light rail as well. So being in Midtown Phoenix does offer us an opportunity to be centrally located. We also do have a lot of people who see the signage, in front of the building. I often get asked, is that a chapter house? What is this building? So it's really exciting to see the seal located there. When you're driving within the city, kind of brings you a little bit of home, right? When you see that visually. But yeah, we are located at 3008 North 3rd Street. For everybody on the call, we do want to invite you all to come down to YHC. If you ever are in Phoenix, you can reach out to myself, to Rita. We can definitely get you set up with a tour. We would love to have you come and see all of the great program that we have happening within the restored structure. Next slide, please. So again, YHC really was established to ensure access to effective culturally relevant care for members of our Navajo Nation and their families. So what makes YHC unique is that, yes, we do accept women and men, but we also do accept parents and children. So for those parents who are seeking treatment, we do have opportunities for their children to come be a part of the healing that happens within YHC. So children are allowed on site. Really, YHC was born through the Dine Action Plan, I will let Olivia talk about that a little bit later. But this has been a vision that has been started years in the making and really came about in response, to what happened with the access fraud. It just seemed that there was time that line, right, for all of this to come together. So our partnership with Navajo Department of Health, with Navajo Division of Behavioral Mental Health Services, is a partnership that we care for and strengthen. Our leadership within NDOH and DBMHS have been wonderful partners with Axiom and have provided wonderful guidance for our team members as well. Next slide, please. So I just want to walk us through the timeline and the establishment of YHC. So back in 2024, Navajo Department of Health did post an RFP. Axiom Care responded, and we were awarded the RFP a couple of years ago. Going forward into March 2025, NDOH did purchase the building. DBMH also established a program to address critical needs. The partnership was officially established. We are contractors, subcontractors, and the operating partner with NDOH and DBMHS. We are contracted and credentialed with Access, AIHP, and insurances partners. Fast forward to September 2025. I should take that a step back. So we actually officially launched and announced the partnership in March of last year. So we got the keys. We were able to host a partnership announcement got by HC. And then we had a few months where we went through some renovation. We were getting things licensed, all of the rooms. For those who might not be aware, the YHC building is a former assisted living home. So what you'll see when you do enter the building, a lot of it was already built out, for residential care. So a lot of the furniture, all of the pieces that were in the building, we actually kept. So obviously we did some deep cleaning for all of those pieces, but that did allow us to move into the space, fairly quickly. And during that time, we were also getting things ready with our staff and further programming. And in September 2025, we were able to officially open. We did start out with 42 beds as part of our phase 1. And then now we've moved into phase 2. So since September 2025, we've now opened to become a 92-bed facility. Since then, we've served over 200 Navajo members in the first 6 months of operation, which is really extraordinary when we think about how fast all of that has come about. I'm also really happy to report that we have now had 40 plus graduates from YHC. So those are 40 lives that we have helped change, right, through services, all of their families. So we're really happy to see that number grow. I also do have a really exciting update too, that as of yesterday, we had hit the high in our census numbers of having 62 Navajo relatives within YHC. As a whole, Axiom Care has also hit the high of having 300 people across all of our facilities. So we've seen a lot of growth over the last few months. So those numbers are really exciting to see and whatnot. If we go to the next slide, please. So I do want to explain a little bit more about ownership versus our operational role. So what you'll see here again within the green is Navajo Nation ownership. In the blue, we'll talk about NDOH and DBMHS, their program authority. And then there in orange is also Axiom Care, our role as operators. But yes, with Navajo Nation, again, they own the facility. Again, that program is established through DBMHS. So Navajo Nation again provides the program oversight, governance. NDOH, DBMHS through Vera John and through Director Sherlyn Yazi. We've been able to focus on that wellness model. They've been able to provide training for our staff. in curriculum, really kind of focusing again on Dine philosophy, Dine prayers, and practitionership, incorporating that into our curriculum. So again, that focus really does build out our model for Navajo healing Navajo. Axiom Care, again, as a contractor, we are the operations side of things. So again, we provide facility operations, day-to-day management, and also clinical staffing and program delivery. If you go to the next slide, please. So here you'll see part of our YHC team. So again, Andrea Klimas is our executive director. Heather Johnson is our operations manager. And we also do have Leslie Perez Whitehead, who is also our clinical director on site. There in the photo is actually our first group of staff members who joined YHC last year. Since then, we've grown to about over 40 staff members. And so most of the staff members are Navajo or Indigenous. Most of them have clinical backgrounds. Our clinicians come from master's level educational backgrounds. A lot of them are also working toward licensure as well. What's really amazing to see is the dedication of our staff when it comes to their work, day in and day out. It is challenging work. You know, there are days, obviously, where we see the highs and the lows. But in the end, it really does make our work meaningful, insightful, and again, goes back to the heart of what we see as Navajo healing Navajo. If we could go to the next slide, please. So here we have our outreach and admissions team. So you'll see myself there in the photo on the left, along with my colleague, Olivia Anderson. We had actually done one of our first outreach events at one of the tribal legislative day in January. So that was sort of our debut, right, for YAC. We were able to get out there and to meet a lot of our state agencies, partners, local organizations. And you'll see that over the last few months, we've been really putting ourselves out there and getting word out about YAC. Some of the feedback that we've heard across the board is, you know, there's still a little bit of mystery, right, about what YAC is, you know, who is Axiom, what is it that you guys exactly do. So our role in outreach and admissions is to really get out into the community, explain a little bit more about the admissions process, referrals. You know, we've been hitting a lot of community events within Phoenix and then also around the state. Back in February, we also partnered with the Phoenix Indian Center. They sponsored a Navajo song and dance at Glendale High School. So I'm really proud to say that YHC was a lead sponsor for that event. And so we were able to invite down India Wakes and DBMHS leadership to the event. We also had President Nygren attend as well. So, you know, being able to be part of the urban community in Phoenix and having YHC there, I think really brought a lot of validity, right, to our community and it really helped with getting our name out there. Rita Anderson is my counterpart, who is based here in Fort Defiance. Again, I am based in Phoenix. My role is a little bit different from Lorita's. I do focus on partnerships, but I also do have a communications role within Axiom. So I do work with NDOH and DBMHS with their PIO staff as well. So we want to further develop our communications outreach. Just to kind of give a quick update on that. We do have ads that are currently running on KTNN. So those will be running for the rest of this month. We've also had ad buys in Navajo Times. So again, we are getting word out there. So I think it's really important for our team to put some names and some faces to the organization and to really do that grassroots outreach. I think that is really important. I've had relatives come to me at tables who have, told me their stories. I have relatives who really need your help, and the feedback I've heard is, very welcoming. They've been very upfront about needing help themselves. And, this is a resource that is highly needed. I've had relatives who've come up to me as well who have talked about some of the experiences that they've had in some of the sober living homes and within Phoenix. Obviously not all of that is good. And so they looked at YHC as another opportunity to come in and to heal within. So those stories are out there. That need really is out there. And so I'm really happy to see that we are a part of that change that we can make within our nation. At this point, I am going to let Larita take over. And so she'll talk a little bit more about programming, and then also talk a little bit more about how we might be able to outreach further.
Thank you again. It's so wonderful to be able to be here. Again, just welcoming us from the doorway into the doorway out, and all of the relatives joining us online. Thank you for your time. Again, Levi just really explained, the core and the mission and the vision behind YHC, and we're really happy that we're able to create that balance and that life way for our relatives. So with that, we've very much incorporated our culturally grounded care with that slide that shares how much we have integrated, not only providing some of SAMHSA and those best practices as well, but definitely utilizing our Navajo wellness model as part of our core curriculum that our relatives have been provided as they step through those doors. And it's really beautiful to also see that kinship as our relatives come through those doors when they're first arriving, being able to be welcomed by our staff and welcoming them, welcome, come in, put your stuff down. Have you eaten? Would you like something to eat? So really just creating that familial welcome as they enter our doors, and as they go through that process of navigating through, getting their stuff checked, and just that admission process, basically. So really making that welcoming, that comfort level for our relatives is always so key. And I'm really grateful that we have that staff that are there to welcome them, even from the initial pickup, with our when our drivers are able to come forward to be able to help with our relatives and transferring them down to our detoxification center, observation portion of it. And then our relatives are again, welcomed over to YHC. So again, with just that in itself, I believe that's truly such a wonderful embrace to have that journey and that beginning for our relatives. If we can move to the next slide regarding the program elements, I believe Levi already, touched a little bit more on that, and just in regards to how we integrate the Navajo wellness model. We definitely incorporated a lot of holistic variances that we can provide for our relatives. So that not only includes, allowing us to have smudging, talking circles, cultural art activities, but also opening up those spaces to, if a relative would like to have like church service, we provide, there is a way for us to provide that online for them to watch the services, because we have to also be mindful that we are an inpatient program for our relatives. So when they arrive, based upon, the level of care needed for our relatives, we are looking at a 60 to 90-day inpatient program for our relatives to be a part of within YHC. So as we move through those elements and acknowledging, what our relatives are also what they're learning, but also what they're learning about themselves and how we're integrating them into community. It just becomes more family oriented. So again, if we could move to the next slide in regards to how we definitely have incorporated family, and family has been such an integral part of our relatives when they are needing that guidance, needing that help for their wellness. You know, we definitely want to incorporate how family is so important and keeping that intact. So we have definitely encouraged our relatives who, and when they need that help, that we would like to have their families come with them, their children. And we do offer on-site weekday childcare, so sorry. So our parents can still be fully engaged within their programming. We do provide family therapy sessions that is incorporated into the relatives' level of care. So we work with some of the local school districts as well, so we're able to enroll our relatives, their children into those schools. So you know, we do have a couple of the littles who are a part of our family now at YHC, and actually that has really been such a wonderful balance there, you know, to have those little ones there learning and being able to acknowledge, you know, that wow, this is what my family, a healthy family looks like. So that's been so inspiring, not only to the parents themselves who bring their children, but also to our other relatives who are in our care, who are possibly going through, you know, those reunification services, to be able to have that family unit. So maybe, you know, in hopes that they are joined with their children again. If we can go to the next slide, please. So again, you know, just wanting to touch a little bit on our transportation, and we do, you know, work with some non-medical emergency transportation organizations that are able to provide the services for us to be able to come to Navajo Nation, to be able to provide that transportation from home to our Apache Junction location, which is our Ocotillo campus, where that is really the first stop for any of our relatives coming through YHC care. Is we want to make sure that they are medically clear, that they are going through a detoxification if they are coming down from any substances. We want to make sure that they're observed in a very a clinical setting. And even if they are coming from, say, if they are justice served or incarcerated, you know, we also have them go straight to observation just to acknowledge and assure that they will be medically cleared as well. So regardless, any relative that comes through our care does go through either a detoxification or an observation period at our Ocotillo campus, which is located in Apache Junction. So we just want to make that clarity, you know, when we talk about YHC, we see the picture, you know, of that it's located in Midtown. So we just really try to create that transparency to the relative when they're going through that admission process, from the first phone call to letting them know that, you know, transportation is being set up, that this is the first stop that they will make prior to going to YHC facility. We do provide and work definitely alongside our Navajo TRIBA, our Regional Behavioral Health Authority program. We actually do have a staff on site at YHC. So that is really another wonderful asset for us to be able to not only work alongside NDOH and DBMHS as our tribal partners, but having that liaison, that tribal representative there on site is also a wonderful opportunity for our relatives to learn and ask questions and learn a little bit more about those processes as well for coordination of care. And then we also are providing that workforce development training for our relatives when they are coming through our care. You know, so again, looking at those days of them being in our within YHC, and then when they do graduate, like Levi had shared, you know, when they go through that healing circle and they're graduating and they choose to continue through intense outpatient programming, IOP is when they would be going to our Victory Place, which is our supportive sober housing. So that our relatives still get to be within that environment, and then that's when they are given more in-depth of that workforce training, you know, being able to look and go to other offsite intense outpatient programming that is still part of Axiom. So again, that's really another wonderful opportunity for our relatives to be a part of. If we could go to the next slide, please. And then just kind of going into how the patient flow chart looks like, you know, when a referral is received, we definitely we contact the individual, or our admissions, our wonderful admissions department does contact via phone, via email, or family referral. All of that, you know, we really try to respect how the relative calls us, because sometimes it's out of you know, necessity in terms of like, I'm suffering right now, I need your help. So Levi and I might be those first points of contact, and then we kind of just help navigate them through that, which is so important as peer support. So that's something we really try to encourage for our relatives is and our staff is, you know, having that part of the trainings of having peer support. And eventually our relatives will be, you know, have that opportunity to become peer support themselves. So with those referrals, it is so important and key for us to be able to be available. And then we do that soft handover to our admissions department, where they're able to talk more extensively, ask those questions that are pertinent to the level of care for the relative. And then at that point is when they move into that transport part. You know, our urban setting is a little bit different from our transportation to the reservation. So again, that is definitely navigated through, as well as going through those assessments, the clinical assessment when they are arriving here in our care, utilizing that 24/7 care, like I said, with observations at Ocotillo campus. And then essentially our relatives are transferred to YHC. So that is just a look at how that referral and patient flow chart would look. Next slide, please. And here we're just taking another look at how, you know, that a relative's recovery begins. You know, again, first it's just calling us. You know, it's so important to have that phone number 928-212-CARE, 928-212-2273. We also have our website, so if a relative is able to visit our website, navajo-yhc.com, you know, they're able to even self-refer themselves through that or see more information of what is needed. And so if we have questions about what do I need to bring, everything is provided on our website to be able to share. But again, we also share that with them to let them know what they need to bring and those essentials that are needed. And then just going through those options together with that admissions representative. So that's really wonderful to be able for us to get more history of our relative and what their needs are at that time. And even with, you know, going through those assessments too, we have to understand some of our relatives may need a higher level of care, which is where we have a wonderful outreach of our resources where we can work with other viable organizations in the metro area that allow us to refer to them to say, you know, this is a level that, you know, we feel your entity could bring to our relative, you know, so still being able to provide that resource for our relatives and not just, you know, we don't want to leave them in a position where they're unsure or they may not understand some of these processes and how it works. So we really try to be very transparent with them over the phone and keeping it very formal, but not using a lot of big verbiage, I guess, with our relatives, because we want to have them understand that we're here to help and we want to help navigate that referral for them or just that need of care that they're needing at that time. Next slide, please. And so we're going to just go a little bit more into the background of who Axiom Care is, which is our partner or our entity that we do work with our tribal partners. So Axiom Care was founded in 2012. They are based out of Phoenix. They have been definitely in that realm of substance abuse, recovery, housing with many of their sister programs that they provide alongside YHC. Definitely working within the justice involved community as well. So they're a little bit of their background in terms of what they offer through is encompassing multiple levels of care, which is alcohol detoxification, residential treatment, intense outpatient treatment, medicated assisted treatment, supportive housing, integrated care, and our re-entry support. So again, just looking at all those facets of what Axiom provides and how our relatives at YHC also have those sister programs that we're able to help our relatives do their walk. So they may be able to also get services provided through our other programs through Axiom. And we'll just briefly go over some of what our campuses look like. This is just showing a little bit of our buildings that have provide those programming. If you look at the multi-story building, that is actually part of our Ocotillo campus. That is where one of our treatment centers is located. To the left of that is where our detox center is located. So again, them just providing the 27-bed detox center in Patchy Junction has really helped, as well as that observation unit. And if we just go to the next slide, again, just sharing a little bit more of what those stations look like, what our campus looks like, what that beautiful view looks like looking towards Apache Junction, and how we had our ribbon cutting for that particular campus. So again, just really providing the utmost services for our relatives and in a very viable, comfortable environment for our relatives to feel welcomed. Next slide. And we want to also highlight our Mofford site, which is actually located not very far from YHC. This is where we have majority of our integrated care, which is our intense outpatient programming. And this is for all facets of Axiom and our sister programs. So they come there for meetings, to meet with other clinical staff, as well as we do provide, I believe every month there is a meeting there for those relatives who have just recently been released from prison. So they offer a program there for them, basically a welcome, into what their roles and responsibilities are now that they are, out, and they're able to learn and utilize the resources that are here for them as well. One of our really wonderful ways to allow our relatives to utilize art as part of therapy, for as much as we say culture is also part of our recovery. We have the Art of Our Soul studio, which allows our relatives to utilize that entire studio area just for therapy, for art. They'll learn, certain modalities within art therapy. So that's something that's really beautiful. We have like massage chairs there that are located within that center as well. And so, that is basically in a nutshell of what Axiom and the sister programs provide. And we are really super excited and grateful that YHC gets to be a part of these sister programs, because this is that much more resource that is provided to our relatives on and off the reservation. And so again, if you go to that very last slide there, that shows our contact information. We are located on all social platforms. As you can see, we do have our QR code there that will take you straight directly to our website. Again, that number to share is 928-212-CARE 2273. That is our physical location of where YHC is located. And of course, you can always reach Levi or myself with our contact information. We did provide our cards as well. So we are definitely available for any type of in-service or just questions. If you need us to respond to those, we will definitely make ourselves available. So at this point, that does conclude our presentation for the Hajoja Center. We do appreciate this time and the opportunity. Yeah, successfully.
All right. Thank you for that presentation. That was really great. A lot of good information was shared. So we'll go ahead and open up the floor for task force members or visiting members. If they want to ask any questions, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll go down the list one by one. Do we have any questions for the presenters? Okay, so not seeing any hands. Oh, Crystal, I do see your hand raised. Go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much for your presentation and educating all of us here on the line to further refer family members or families. I just wanted to know if your organization is mentioned to police officers in case they ever come across a case, they are aware of your organization. So is that also shared with the local uh, law enforcement officers so that way they're able to know in case they get a case, they can refer your program over to them or also be one of the ones to connect you with anybody who's in needing any sort of assistance. So that's just what I was wondering if there's any sort of partnership with the police department or social services or anything like that to further connect, especially our relatives that are out that way. So that was all that I had a question on.
Thank you for that, Crystal. I'll give the floor over to presenters to answer.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. And just real quick, I did put my contact information in the chat. So if you want to copy that down, you can definitely do that. But yes, right now we are what I would say in partnership building phase. We are in the process basically of reaching out to local law enforcement authorities in Phoenix. And also some of the social services agencies. We already have been in touch with them. Those agencies who are working with Native American clients. We've done some in-service presentations with the Phoenix Indian Center, with Native Health. We're also, we have an in-service set up with PIMC at the end of this month. And then we're also reaching out to the urban 638s within Phoenix. Tying it back here to Navajo Nation, we also are currently working with Navajo Nation Prosecutor's Office, as well as Navajo Nation Probation. They've both been to YFC to tour. But yes, we definitely want to further expand that footprint for the future. But I don't know if you have anything else to add, or Andrea or Heather on one as well.
Thank you, Crystal, for that question as well. Yes, we definitely, so with my role being specifically on the Navajo Nation, I have definitely reached out to the Navajo Nation Police. Also being a part of the Dine Action Plan and attending those quarterly meetings, I've been able to meet with some of the key staff through our Navajo Nation Police Department. So that has been very helpful to be part of these key groups to provide that information and oversight of what YHC does to our police and also with our first responders too. Definitely reaching out to them just to have them be aware of who YHC is and how we can best be a resource for them as well. So again, successfully, yeah, thank you for that question.
All right, thank you for that response, presenters. We'll go down the line here. We have Luviana Sosi with the Navajo Nation Youth Advisory Council. Go ahead, Ms. Sosi, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you, Tatiana. Earlier I mentioned that I am a case manager with the Denver Indian Center. Also, so I'm kind of wearing two hats being here in this conference, but I have a quick question for the presenters. I'm just wondering if you guys have partnered or will partner with the Phoenix Indian Center, and I'm just wondering if that's a possibility for my organization as well here in Denver, since we do have a really big population of Diné people here.
Yes, thank you so much for that question. Yes, we do have a partnership with Phoenix Indian Center. They were identified actually as one of our 3 top agencies within Phoenix. Phoenix Indian Center is the oldest urban Indian center in the country. So we work pretty closely with their staff, with the CEO, Jalani Kopa, with their prevention team, the Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona, which I actively, or myself and Maria actively attend those meetings each month. So that coalition is a gathering of tribal agencies, nonprofits, social services, and of course other prevention agencies, as well as their community navigation team. So their community navigation team is also active in the community, getting services to those folks who are most in need for clothing, food, housing assistance, and also workforce development with Phoenix Indian Center. But yeah, we would love to, work with the Denver Indian Center and really all of the Indian centers, within all of the larger cities, Albuquerque, Utah, has been mentioned to me. So yeah, if you would like to send us, contact information, we can set up an in-service, Zoom, virtually, you would be able to do that. So we would love to, get word out there to, our Disney relatives in Denver.
Perfect. Thank you so much, yeah, for answering that. We just got a new executive director. He's coming from, I believe, Red Mesa. So we're pretty excited about having another Dinesh in the building. But thank you guys so much for the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you for that, presenters. Do we have any more questions for the presenters? Task force members? Okay, so I don't see anyone raising their hand. I do have a few questions as well. When we're talking about these rehabilitation centers, I just wanted to ask, have you guys by chance assisted any of our relatives who have been involved with the fraudulent sober living homes? Have you reached out to anybody to see if if they want to come back into the rehab centers and kind of like help them regain trust with the facility and let them know that traditional healing is there and that you guys are very focused on Navajo healing and Navajo trust in a way? And then my second question, same thing, going back to the public safety connections, have you guys worked with Department of Corrections or any of the DPS departments to provide services for relatives who are struggling with alcohol and substance abuse in any way? And with that question, have you worked closely with any of the other Dine Action Plan task forces, being substance and alcohol abuse, suicide, and domestic violence?
Thank you, Co-Chair, Madam Co-Chair. I appreciate your question. To start off with, absolutely trust, a few years ago when we did experience this huge access fraud, and that was also the result of how the Rainbow Bridge program was initiated as well, or at least, helping our relatives come back and finding them. And I know that was, such a great opportunity for our relatives just to finally come out of those fraudulent homes and be able to come back home. So again, I think just from that as well, and Dine Action Plan having a huge integral part of the vision of them saying, we need to establish something to have for our relatives to recreate that trust, because our relatives are still struggling, and within all facets of what are the monsters that we're trying to fight against. So within that, I'm definitely, that has been one of our leading just drives, is being here on the Navajo Nation is one, first and foremost, we do have to establish that trust, it is very delicately walking that line with our relatives, especially if they have shared with you that they have been in these homes, these fraudulent homes, and that we're just basically enabling them and not helping them. So and then the biggest part of that comes with working with our Dine families too. I feel by us being able to provide this resource for our relatives is one, we are talking actually a lot more with our families. So and I think that's good, because that means our families are finding their voices and they're advocating for their relative who needs the help. And even the relatives themselves, will share their lived experience. So us being able to, find that medium with them, talk with them, and then again, have that soft handover to our admissions, but also our admissions team being very acknowledging of, these are what some of our relatives have been through. So we even have gone to also establish and have one of our admissions teams who is also worked with YHC, and then she transferred over to admissions. So she's providing that cultural connection as well through admissions, which we feel is really important and key. When we have a relative call in, that they're also hearing a familiar voice, right? They're hearing, how can we help you today? So yes, trust has definitely been something that I've also shared alongside my colleagues as we travel, be it in the urban setting, but also on the Navajo Nation, is just really sharing with our relatives the transparency and the fluidity of what YHC is, as we shared with you all today. And then as we move into working within public safety, and specifically you shared about working with, like, say, the Department of Corrections, absolutely. And that's the beautiful part of what Axiom also provides as a sister. So one of their sister programs is we do have a grant that we do partner with the Department of Corrections. So we've actually reached out and we have been receiving some Dene relatives who are either being paroled or their sentences may be getting lessened in lieu of going to a treatment center. And again, YHC is one of those organizations that is definitely brought up for us to be able to provide that for our relatives. So that's that. Thank you for asking that. And again, you know, I really do appreciate, you know, your questions.
Perfect. Thank you for that response. We do have Andrea Bial who has her hand raised. Andrea, go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you. In regards to the crosswork that you guys are working with, we do have loved ones that are veterans as well. Are you guys doing any collaboration work with the VA as well? If a family member has a loved one that is seeking the services for veterans, can they start there with you guys and a referral can be made? And then the second part of that question is, we do have quite a few cases where we do have loved ones that may go missing, that may go into the city, Phoenix being one. Where could a family member start, or what's the, like, if there is one, like, internal process with you guys of how a family member can check to see if maybe they've been through the program? I know there's a fine line because when it comes to mental health, there's certain information that's privy, but we get a lot of families that just want to make sure their loved one, you know, is still alive, and if seeking treatment, that they're getting the help that they need. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that question. Yes, so we are actively working with our veteran population. So Axiom Care actually operates the John McCain Veterans Center. That is an Axiom facility where we have a specialist. His name is George Campbell, who's part of our outreach team, who actively is in touch with veteran groups around the state. And the McKean Center has actually been tagged as the facility where our relatives can step down to within Phoenix if they decide to stay within Axiom after graduation, and if they don't come back up to the reservation for whatever reason, they are able to go into our supportive housing, transitional housing at McKean Center. So with the McKean Center, we do have a lot of resources within the VA. Loretta can talk a little bit more about her outreach with the veterans groups here on the nation. And then the second part to your question, I'm actually going to have Heather Johnson or Andrea answer that, because they can talk a little bit more about that role, right, with identifying those who, or those family members who are trying to find their members within YC and maybe what those plans are like.
Okay, thank you for that, Levi. Yes, so there's a number of questions to answer here, but just want to go back to a little bit of, you know, talking about the fraudulent sober living homes. My part of my role is on a weekly basis, I go into the house meeting with all of our relatives, and I'll say it's a constant education of reminding relatives that this is what an actual inpatient, legitimate inpatient residential facility looks like for substance abuse healing. And what I find is a lot of the concerns, you know, maybe even the frustrations are coming from our relatives because we're not meeting that expectation of what they're used to with being in those homes. So it's just a re-education of, you know, like, how many of you have received that healing? Yes, you were getting, the outings. Yes, you were getting money. Yes, you were getting all those necessities, that you became accustomed to or entitled to, but the healing itself was not provided. And this is what an actual, inpatient facility looks like. And this is what an actual step down for an IOP program looks like. So we have those conversations on a weekly basis and constantly educating. And I know like our clinicians and our case managers and our support staff also offer that information. And we really get into these conversations, to educate and open up that platform for them to understand that this is another trauma, that we as Indigenous people are facing. So we are constantly working toward that, just to establish that, to make them feel more comfortable with, not to disregard where they have been, but also to allow them to heal in that process and to understand that a lot of what they have been through was not okay. And we do, in the beginning, we did see a lot of relatives who were not used to an actual residential inpatient, and then they would leave, but then we would see those relatives come back and then actually try the program again. And we've had relatives complete, who have done a fantastic job with processing and navigating and opening up to talking about what has happened. So our clinicians do a good job with addressing that on a constant, with making sure that their needs are met, emotionally and mentally. And then just speaking a little bit to the veterans program, we do have a veterans track with Axiom Care on our step down IOP level, as well as an Indigenous track and then that reentry track. So we're trying to meet all of our individuals, whatever they're needing, where they're at. And I think with the task force, with identifying our relatives who may be missing, and, really trying to establish what that data system looks like, we will continue to build those partnerships to figure out a way where we can get that, situated. But again, that goes back to educating our relatives, and really looking for a good database that we can say, hey, you're on this list, is it okay if we can reach out to a family member, to let your family know you are okay. But it does really go against that fine line of, the HIPAA regulations and making sure we have those ROIs in place. But that definitely is encouraged for our relatives to have an emergency contact on file, just to identify, that if they leave, then we can notify somebody that they're no longer in our services. So we're constantly educating again on that to make sure that we have that in place for our relatives so they know that they are supported all the way around. I don't know if I left anything out or if Andrea or anybody else would like to chime in on that, but thank you very much, Kat.
Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate your share in that regard. And then just back to how with those other task force, absolutely, so being here on the reservation, able to be a part of those quarterly meetings. So I have reached out to the other task force to see ideally when would be a good time to be able to present or even just provide that information to their co-chairs collective respectfully. So again, there has been that conversations and I'm really grateful that, there has been that kind of that open door policy. And in regards to helping our relative veterans, absolutely, I have partnered and was able to connect with our Navajo Veterans Organization here on the Navajo Nation. So being invited to be able to provide a resource table at the Women's Veteran Conference in Flagstaff was so beneficial to share more resources with our female Navajo veterans. So that was so, great to be able to connect on that level as well. And then being able to go out and visit as well with not only chapters, but also acknowledging our veteran organizations in those respective chapters. So I'm still, making my way through. I've visited some of our central and into northern, but again, that's, I definitely want to be able to reach out to more of our Navajo veteran organizations, but I have been getting a lot of help through our Navajo Window Rock office here with Director Baldwin as well as Patricia Burnside, who's definitely been a help for me to be able to reach out to some of these organizations for our veterans. So that I do appreciate that collective partnership as well.
Thank you for that response. So we're going to I want to say we're going to hold off on questions for now because we're now at the time of 10:07 a.m. and we still have one more action item to address on the agenda. So thank you again, YHC, for being here with us today. We do appreciate this presentation, the information that you provided with us. I'm looking at the chat online for YouTube, and there's a lot of people who are just, thank you for sharing the information. A lot of them didn't know about this program or about this care that you guys provide to our Phoenix relatives. So thank you so much for that. So we'll go ahead and go into vote. Lori, can you go on 1-5? Because we have, yeah, because Delegate Helena Espiguet is online as well. Yeah, her phone number ending in 409. She left, but we still have 7. Okay, go ahead and Lori, can you help us with the roll call vote to accept this report?
Yes, thank you, Tatiana, Vice Chair. This roll call vote for receiving the report from YHC. Honorable Amber Kanata Kani, how do you vote?
Go ahead and try one more time, Shade.
Honorable Kani, how do you vote?
Sorry about that. I was double muted. This is Delegate Crowdy. I vote green. Thank you.
Honorable Amber Kanata Kani, green. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, how do you vote? Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, how do you vote?
It was just.
Okay, Tatiana Billy, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Tatiana Billy votes green. Juanita Martinez, how do you vote?
I vote green also.
Shepherd.
This is Delegate Nesbitt voting green.
Honorable Helena Nesbitt votes green. Laurel Shepherd, how do you vote? Tanya Grass, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Tanya Grass votes green. Milton Woodhouse Jr., how do you vote?
I approve vote. Thank you.
Milton Woodhouse Jr. votes green. Vice Chair, we have 6 members in favor. Tatiana?
All right, thank you for that. Let's see. So we just lost quorum by 1. How will we move forward with this? Because she was just online.
Yeah.
Let me just ask, what's her vote?
Okay.
Just give us a few minutes here. She might have lost signal. So. Sorry about participants. I'm just trying to get the vote for some of our task force members. Okay, Laurel voted green.
Okay, Laurel Shepherd votes green, so that is 7 members in favor.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We do appreciate that. And we'll reach back out for any more further questions. I know there were a few more questions for our task force members, but we need to get on with the.
No, we totally understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Safe
Well,
drive.
rest of your day.
Thank you. All right, task force members, we're now down to our final report here. This is the big one that we need everyone to be online for. This is going to be for the voting for the MMDR task force spring session report. Did the task force members, did you guys get the report? I sent it out last night, very, very late. I just got done with it around 1 o'clock, so I just want to make sure you guys got that.
Tatiana, this is Delegate Claudia. I received the report. It was emailed out, let's see, 12:49 a.m.
Yes, it was very late last night, but we got it done. Let me share my screen for the report just so that we can all see it. There we go. Okay. So for this report, I'll just go into a quick presentation for it, then we'll go into questions and to vote. I want to make this quick because I do know that we do have other meetings scheduled within around this time. So for the report, we do have the executive summary, just going over what the report's going to be about for our challenges and the success, along with the training sessions that we've held from October 2025 to April 2026. Between that time, we had about 4 major training sessions being the CATE, both level 1 and 2. We've had the TCRP training along with the human trafficking awareness training that we've had that was hosted at NTU. We had multiple presentations throughout the year. I've listed those in the report as well, along with highlighting the number of families that we've assisted as well. I'm keeping out the names of the families out of respect for them and their privacy. We don't want to, put people's names out there if they feel uncomfortable. And going down into the urgent requests that we're asking for council, one being accepting the policy recommendations for increasing our task force members, specifically for community and organization representatives. As we can see here, we have issues with meeting forum when it comes to our representatives who represent the public safety department along with the other branches. So just asking for a little bit of assistance with that so we can meet forum. Improving reoccurring and sustainable funding for the MMDR task force. This is going to be for operations when we have organization outreaches or any type of community events. A lot of our training and presentations are very limited to either being online or being hosted here within Window Rock, and that's just because of funding. But thankfully, with the help of Navajo Technical University, through Twyla and Dr. Arvisa, they've been very helpful with providing us assistance when it comes to our training. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you guys so much for your assistance. Going down into supporting legislative amendments for Title 17. This is from the task force's recommendations when we met with the Law and Order Committee back last year. I believe it was December 2025. Just listing out those recommendations we had, eliminating the statute of limitation for sex crimes against our Navajo children, strengthening the definitions of strangulation, and improving the victim rights subchapter, along with making amendments to the 2023 Navajo Nation Victim Rights Act, and strengthening that language to better protect our relatives. And going down the line, the council requesting for the council support to pass and finalize the updated version of the Navajo Nation's Tribal Community Response Plan. Internally, our goal is to try and have this done by the 2026 summer session so we can present it to the council and have their vote on it. And then we'll go more into detail about that throughout this report. And going down the line, just asking for their support to help strengthen that communication and that collaboration between the task force and the Navajo Nation Police Department's Missing Person Unit. We'll go deeper into that one as well. And then listing down our top priorities for 2026. You can read that on the screen here. I need to fix that's supposed to be down on this page. Anyways, so this is what we have listed out for 2026. I've also highlighted the continued work with the Navajo Nation or with the Navajo Technical University for the MMDR database. I did provide a small snapshot of the update in this report as well for that database. And going down the line, just a snapshot of what we've been doing so far, just giving them an update, a heads up. Because I do understand that a lot of the community members and council are not aware of what we are doing. So this is just to give them a quick overview of what we've done so far. And here I have listed the presentations that we've held online here. These are the ones I was able to gather, but if I see anything more, I'll add that in there as well. Along with going into the family assistance, the type of resources we provided for each of the families, then going down into the Title 17 recommendations. The highlighted part right here, I do need the task force members to review and to make sure that we all agree with those recommendations, because I want to make sure that we're all unified in that message. So when the public hearings for Title 17 come up, we all have the same message across the board. And going down the line, what remains incomplete, just again highlighting, trying to finalize that TCRP for the law enforcement section. The last update I received was from Yolanda Azua and from Sergeant Gary Grandson, just stating that they are meeting to get that section complete. So I did ask them to please forward me that Zoom link or forward me that meeting information so I can share it with the rest of the task force and we can sit in and just kind of just listen in and see what's being done. And then going down the line, just the completion of the Title 17 amendments process, just making sure that the task force's recommendations are being heard. Because a lot of our recommendations are based on our advocates, our family members, and along with a lot of our experts on the task force who are making these recommendations. So this isn't just from one specific individual, this is a whole entire group who's agreeing with these. Going down the line, establishing the MMDR office with a defined staff structure. This is just to ensure that the work that we're doing as a task force member continues, despite who's the chair and co-chair or task force members, that we make sure that the work doesn't die out when we leave. Going down the line, establishing coordination with Navajo Division of Public Safety in partnership with Navajo Technical University, who is the host of the MMDR database. We've all heard this request from Dr. Gonzalez, Dr. Aviso, and Twyla, asking that they need help to get Navajo Public Safety on the line to have that meeting to coordinate that data sharing. So putting that on there as well. And then here's just a quick overview of the TCRP, what's been done. I've also highlighted the training that we've had as well, just informing the council what was discussed and what we've completed so far. In the TCRP, there is 4 sections, and the MMDR task force has been able to complete 3 out of the 4 sections. The 3 sections that have been complete were the victim advocacy protocols and resources, the communication frameworks and interagency notification procedures, and along with the public outreach guidelines and community engagement strategies. So I just like to give a big shout out to the task force members who are able to complete these 3 sections. That's going to be Laurel Shepard with Northern Arizona Victim Witness Services, Tonio Grass with UNH Utah Navajo Health Services, Andrea Bial with Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue. We also had Renee Swope, who is an advocate for the LGBTQ community. So thank you guys. Oh, and along with Vanjie as well, Vanjie Randall Shorty, mother of Zachariah Shorty, for assisting us with completing this TCRP. Thank you guys so much. Your work and your dedication to this work is much appreciated. Then going down the line, Again, here's the highlighted section for Navajo Technical University, the MMDR database. This is what I gathered from Dr. Gonzalez from the email that he sent. So Twyla, if you can take a screenshot of this, or I'll send you this section of the report just to finalize and to make sure that the language is correct and I have all the accurate information for it. Going down the line, going into funding and budget, just requesting for assistance when it comes to when we host these outreach events that we need help with, providing services, providing lunch for all of our attendees. That's the first part. And then along with the impact from the line item veto from President Nygren for our virtual attendance, just highlighting that due to that line item veto, the task force had to kind of get creative with our meetings. This is probably our second in-person meeting that we've had since the line item veto has been lifted by the council. So this is just highlighting that what we face as a challenge and how we've overcome it with using our Tuesday calls to do public outreach, family assistance, and just doing our work in general. So just highlighting that in there as well. In this financial allocation, this whole section right here, I do need to go over with Delegate Crowdy just to make sure that I have the correct information on here and to make sure that what's in this part of the report reflects the need of the task force when it comes to the funding allocation. So Delegate Crowdy, I'll reach back out to you either today or tomorrow just to go over this section. Then going down the line, policy and legislative recommendations, again, highlighting the amendments that we're recommending for Title 17, along with our, along with the MMDR legislation as well, just requesting to approve the increase of members for our community and organization reps to help us meet quorum. And right here, we've highlighted the membership. So representatives from OPVP, the Office of the Speaker, Judicial Branch, representatives from NABI, the Law and Order Committee, the HES Committee, law enforcement and public safety representatives, including the Navajo Nation Police Department Missing Persons Unit, Criminal Investigation, Public Defender's Office, and the Prosecutor's Office, and then the increasing numbers for community and organization reps. And going down the line, just going into outreach, representation, and staffing. This is going to be for the MMDR office. Again, just reiterating that the MMDR task force does need this office so we can continue our work, and that the work that we're doing now doesn't, fade out because of change in leadership or change in task force members. And this is just a simple appendix that I put together, trying to go through everything, making sure that I have all of our documents in there, that being the TCRP training documents that we've collected from Fox Valley, the training notes from Kate level 1 and 2, along with the human trafficking awareness, the draft Title 17 amendments that we put together, the budget tracker and quarterly finance report that me and Twyla are working on. I think we're going to be finalizing that sometimes this week. And then again, just showing that the task force has been having problems with meeting quorum. So showing our attendance record, just showing just the issues that we're facing because of the light item veto for virtual attendance. And then just a quick selection committee recommendations. That's between the group that the recommendations we've made for new task force members. And this right here, the highlighted portion right here, I've been asking my grandparents along with some of my family members for help to make this last section. So I do like you guys' input to see if you guys like it, or if you guys want to take it off or put something else on there. I'll do my best to say this. I'm not really good with my Navajo, but Dinehba Hojo Nahad Still Doleth. Just saying that may there be harmony and peace for our Navajo people, especially for our relatives who are facing those struggles with their cases and receiving justice for their family members as well. So that's the overview of the report. I did send this out to all of our core task group members to review and just to kind of look over. And this is And I'll stand for questions. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Tatiana. Just wanted to make sure I was off mute. Great report. I know it's 11 pages, but that just reflects the amount of work and energy the task force has completed or continues to complete within the last 6 months. So it gives us a great snapshot. Something that I would want to say is for the states, and when I was on the federal commission, we would have a report. So what I would want to do is, and in terms of our capacity, because I know we're all, doing the best we can, is let's look at the report that was passed by council back in October, and let's just make sure if any of those recommendations were implemented. And I'm really big right now on developing a memo for follow-up from executive or other programs. So if we could create that, and then I could sign that memo requesting information as chair, because I want to have just a paper trail that these have been requests, whether it's here verbally on the task force or on our Tuesday calls. But it's critical that this information is provided and that we're able to move forward and keep programs accountable as we start the budget season, and what would MMDR be recommending and working with President and Vice President's office. So that's my only comment and reflection. I think it's great. If we could possibly just do a one-pager visual to provide that to the public, and if there's a way to link this onto our subcommittee page, and however we eventually start housing our information for MMDR for that institutional history, that would be great. So appreciate all of the energy you put into this report. It's really spectacular and demonstrates the commitment of our task force. Appreciate it.
Thank you for that, Shada. So I did note that down here as well. And yes, we can get a one-page summary for the public to review, and we'll put it on the MMDR task force website, hopefully by either today or tomorrow, but I'll for sure put that on my priority list. Are there any other questions or recommendations from any of our task force members on the line? Okay, not seeing anything. Okay, I think it's okay for us to go into a vote. Lori, can you help us with the roll call vote?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Tatiana. This is roll call vote for item 4, receiving reports. Letter B, voting on the MMDR Task Force Spring Session Report. Honorable Amber Canospa-Crotty, how do you vote?
Sorry, Delegate Crotty, vote green.
Honorable Amber Canospa-Crotty votes green. Honorable Charles Newton.
She is offline, but I did text her for her vote, but Delegate Helena Nesbigay did vote green.
Okay. Honorable Helena Nesbigay did vote green. Honorable Tatiana Billy.
I vote green.
Tatiana Billy, Vice Chair votes green. Juanita Martinez.
I approve.
Juanita Martinez approves. Or Laurel Shepherd.
I'm waiting for her to respond.
Okay. Tyler McGrath.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, sorry. Laurel Shepherd.
I'm sorry, but can you just somebody tell me what we're voting on? I just logged back on.
Item 4, receiving reports for MMDR Task Force Spring Session Report by Tatiana.
Sure, green.
Okay. Laurel Shepherd votes green. Tanya Grass, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Tanya Grass votes green. Nelson Bluehouse Jr., how do you vote?
Thank you. I vote to approve.
Nelson Bluehouse Jr. votes to approve. Vice Chair, we have 7 members in favor, 0 opposed. Tatiana.
Perfect. Thank you to all task force members. Thank you guys for working with me, assisting me with this report for the council. Again, I'll reach back out to those that I've mentioned in the report to make sure that all the information is accurate. Then I'll send out that updated report to you guys, hopefully by tomorrow or by Monday, then we can make our final review on our Tuesday call. All right, so now we are now at the end of the agenda. Old business, none. New business, none. Close of meeting as announcements and adjournment. I do see there are some individuals in the chat who are sharing their flyers for events. We'll go down the line to see who like to share. Kayla, are you able to, is she still on the line, Kayla? Okay, so it looks like she jumped offline. She did share an event on the chat, for the safe alert for missing in Arizona for her father, Aaron Mark Bradley. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is his flyer. So that was put in the chat. Going down the line here. Miss Sikandor, I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce your last name. Would you like to share your flyer information with the task force? Okay, maybe she's not able to unmute right now. All right. No audio on there. No audio? Okay, so I'll just read the flyer for everyone here. This is gonna be for Adobe's health fair, which will be held on April 10th, Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is gonna be outside Adobe building on Highway 191 across Chinley Junior High, Chinley Junior Highs? Or is that just Chinley High School? Okay, so that's gonna be across from Chinley High School in Chinley, Arizona. We'll share this online as well, just to get this information out there. Raphael, I do see that you shared the MMDR symposium. Did you want to share any information on that, or with Wahilia? Do you guys want to share that information?
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you all for the time. Just very quickly, you may recall that in past meetings, we did share with the task force our DBMHS's intention of hosting an MMDR symposium in support of the work of the partners here on this call and the advocacy work of every individual as well as survivors and their families. So the MMDR symposium flyer has been shared on our DBMHS social media platforms that include Facebook and Instagram. In addition to that, we will be sharing this flyer through the Navajo Nation listserv as well. There is a booth registration flyer as well. Being hosted at the Navajo Nation Museum, those tables and chairs are limited to a group of 15. So obviously we'd like to curate the type of resources that would there be on site. Of course, prioritizing the nonprofits, government partners, and other programs here on this call and a part of the task force. So for folks who would like to reserve a booth, we'll go ahead and reach out, but you're also welcome to reach out to us. We do have Wahela Begay's information on that flyer as well. We are encouraging attendees to register using that QR code there. Of course, on-site registration will be provided for our elders or any community members who learn of the event prior to registering online. Again, the three main intents and components of our symposium is the awareness, education, and resources. In addition to the two-day event as well as the agenda, we will have the talking circle on day one, the evening of May 4th at 6:30 at the Museum Hogan. In addition to that, we will on day two have a candlelight vigil on day two at the Rinderock Flea Market as well. We are still in the process of finalizing the agenda. I did get an update from Wahala this morning. She was on the call earlier, but had to attend to an outreach event. Some folks on this call may have received direct invitations thus far, and we do have confirmations in place. I believe it is 1, 2, maybe just about a handful of pending confirmation specifically to Director Henderson and DAP co-chair Salansa Jim, as well as confirmations and invitations going out to family members, specifically those who express interest in being part of a panel discussion, as well as pending confirmation from Renee Swoop, and then invitations pending to go out to victim advocates organizations, both within Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah as well. So that is being coordinated by Wahala Begay, but I just thought I'd offer that. In addition, if I could just share my screen very briefly. Again, the flyer is being shared in the chat as well. In addition to that, we have a prescription drug take-back day, which is one of the only drug take-back day initiatives that is happening across the Navajo Nation at this point. There is a deadline for local communities to be able to participate, and it does require a the presence of a Navajo Nation police officer as well as receiving those medications. So this is the only one right now that we're aware of here on Navajo, which is scheduled for Saturday, April 25th at the Navajo Nation Fairgrounds. I can go ahead and post that in the chat as well. But again, this is also available on our DBMHS social media as well. Unfortunately, we were working with the DEA and trying to get to see if we might be able to collect e-cigarettes as well as vapes. I know that that is an ongoing issue that is affecting our youth. We're trying to get clarification working with Navajo EPA to see how we can do that for the upcoming drug take-back day that's in October. However, you can work with your local 638 or IHS healthcare facilities to return medication, not just on drug take-back day or any day. So that information is being advertised as well. And just as a reminder, we do have the Standing Talking Circle series. So the next one is scheduled for next Wednesday, April 15th at the Navajo Nation Museum, Hogan as well. And as mentioned prior, we'll have a talking circle available for attendees as well as those interested there on day one at the MMDR Symposium. I can take any questions if folks like, but I'd just like to share that with the folks on the call today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Raphael. There will be no questions right now, but if there's any further questions, I'll defer it back to you through the email. We do have a few more announcements here. One from Tonya Grass. There is an event that UNHS will be hosting, the Sexual Assault Prevention Conference. That will be on April 22nd from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Monson Zuma Creek Clinic. So this has been shared on their social media page and it's been shared in the chat. So go ahead and feel free to download and share. Thank you for that, Tonya, for sharing this with us. We also have Andrea, who is sharing an event, Truckers Against Traffic, Human Trafficking on May 5th, 2026 from 10 to 2. Lunch will be provided on May 7th in Gallup, New Mexico. Thank you for that, Andrea. And then we also have information from Vanjie, just sharing an event that she hosts every year on May 5th in Farmington, New Mexico. Everyone is welcome to join her on that day as well in Farmington. Let's see. Oh, and Zanaba, she also shared a flyer in the chat as well. This is the Gathering of Nations Last Dance, the MMIP Awareness Ride going on April 25th, 2026 on Saturday. Registration starts at 8 a.m. and the starting will be at 9 a.m. It's going to be $35 per rider, a t-shirt for the first 100 riders. So that flyer was shared in the chat. Thank you, Zanaba, for joining us today. I'm so sorry I didn't see your name and the lineup here until the very last minute. So I just want to recognize Zanaba, who's on the call. We also have a few council delegate members online too. I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. We have Delegate Sherilyn Yazzie with the Budget and Finance Committee on the line as well. Thank you for joining us today and staying online with us. We do appreciate your attendance. And we also have one member or one community member here in the room with us who likes to share some information. Go ahead. Go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Peter Nance. I'm with the Black Hills Center for American Indian Health. I just wanted to compliment that individual that were collecting the vaping devices. We have an organization in Winslow that we are the Heirs Life Coalition. We're very much addressing the high vaping that's happening here on Navajo as well. And we have attended a few of this the DAPS meetings over the past few months. The last one being in Gallup, got a chance to just introduce ourselves and then as well as just telling the individual just the high amount of vaping that is going on across Navajo. And so that's the part that I'm really wanting to address. I appreciate that opportunity and sharing this information with you. I have some stickers for you as well as my business cards, including Mr. Walker, who I'm also here with, former council delegate. So we appreciate and just thank you for the time that you're giving and doing all your effort. We appreciate that. So we're hoping to learn more about the DAF program, and we understand that it's very important. We're gonna be doing a study up in Chinle, with the FDA, RTI. It's called the Next Legends campaign. We're hoping to recruit like 500 kids. And so in that case, we're working with Chinle Unified School District and then the Chinle Comprehensive Healthcare Facility and all the parents and anyone that is hoping to address this particular issue. So just wanted to share that information with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You can give that to Lauren. She'll pass that to us. All right, thank you so much. And we also have one more flyer in the chat from Gary Mike. As he mentioned earlier in the meeting, he hosts a memorial walk for his daughter, Ashlyn Mike. That's the 2026 Ashlyn Mike Mile. The flyer has all the information on it. The event will be from May 1st to the 2nd. It'll start at Shiprock Marathon location at 4198 US 491 in Shiprock, New Mexico. You can register online by searching 2026 Shiprock Marathon. And it also has the some more information on how to register on the flyer. So thank you for sharing that, Gary. We really appreciate you. And then we also have another flyer from Zanaba. This is going to be for, this is the event from Vanjie that she hosts every year. This is a justice for our missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. The time is going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3041 East Main Street, Farmington, New Mexico. And for more information, you can look up the Missing Murdered Dene Relatives Coalition, and they'll have more information on that on their social media. Okay, not seeing any more in the chat. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and go into roll call vote for adjournment. Go ahead. The time is at 10:44 a.m. Lori, can you assist us with that?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. This is roll call vote for adjournment. Honorable Amber Canals-Bacradi, how do you vote?
Delegate Crotty, I vote green. Thank you.
Honorable Amber Canals-Bacradi votes green. Honorable Helena Nesbigay, how do you vote?
She votes green.
Honorable Helena Nesbigay votes green. Tatiana Billy, how do you vote?
Green.
Tatiana Billy votes green. Juanita Martinez, how do you vote?
I approve.
Juanita Martinez approves. Laurel Shepherd, how do you vote? Laurel Shepherd, how do you vote? Tanya Grass, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Tanya Grass votes green. Milton Bluehouse Jr., how do you vote?
I vote to approve.
Milton Bluehouse Jr. votes to approve.
Okay, and Laurel votes green.
Laurel Shepherd votes green.
Yeah.
Okay. Vice Chair, we have 7 members in favor. Vice Chair.
Thank you. All right, thank you everyone for joining us today and listening in on the presentation from, try this one more time, Yeliskade Georgia Center. That was really good information. I really like that presentation. A lot of great stuff was shared with us. And if you have any further questions or anything you'd like to ask them, I'll forward you guys their contact information. You guys can reach out to them. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and I hope you guys have a great day.